Hello, welcome back to this vlog. I'm Peter Bradshaw of The Guardian. The first film I want to talk about is The Dig, directed by Simon Stone.
We're standing in someone's graveyard, I reckon. Viking? Oh, maybe older.
Mr. Brown is an archaeologist.
Well, I'm an excavator.
You've come to dig up the mounds.
So you think there's something beneath?
Who are those men?
They're from the museum.
Ye gods! Mrs. Pretty, I think you'd better come and see.
This is adapted from the novel by John Preston, and it's based on the true story of the Sutton Hoo archaeological dig in 1939, when an Anglo-Saxon burial ship was discovered, one of the most sensational archaeological finds in British history. Ralph Fiennes plays Basil Brown, the self-taught working-class archaeologist from Suffolk, and CAREY Mulligan plays Mrs. Edith Pretty, the beautiful, intelligent, lonely widow and single mum on whose land the dig is going to take place. This is a beautifully acted, handsomely shot piece of classy period Brit cinema, drenched in the English literary traditions of L.P. Hartley, Bruce Chatwin, Graham Swift, Ian McEwan, and perhaps even a bit of Larkin. However, it has to be said, this is a film that shovels on the metaphor. Always it is telling us that this is about things long buried in one's heart that are about to be dug up. But slightly frustratingly, the love story, or platonic plus relationship, between Ralph Fiennes and CAREY Mulligan, which the film had appeared to be promising us, simply gets reburied halfway through the film, and instead we are offered a new love story between a new pair of young people, namely Mrs. Pretty's fictional cousin Rory, played by Johnny Flynn, and a visiting London archaeologist Margaret, played winsomely by Lily James. Now, there's not necessarily anything wrong with that. Johnny Flynn and Lily James do a perfectly good acting job, but inevitably their characters look a bit callow and insubstantial compared to the depth and complexity of Basil Brown and Mrs. Pretty. Well, it's a classy and watchable piece of hardback Brit cinema, available on Netflix from the 29th of January. The next film is another period piece set in Soviet Russia in 1962. It's Дорогі товарищи, or Dear Comrades, directed by the Russian veteran Andrei Konchalovsky.
Это что?
Забастовка! Это как?
Это преступление. Народ несознательно, ничего не понимает.
Весь завод пойдет. Мы в демократии живем. Свобода, собрания, демонстрации.
Ситуация критическая. Никита Сергеевич Хрущев лично распорядился отправить в Новочеркасск правительственную комиссию.
Эти люди, они затаили злобу на советскую власть. Дай им волю арестовать и судить.
This is about the Novocherkassk massacre in Western Russia in 1962, when the military opened fire on unarmed striking factory workers, killing an estimated 80 people. Yulia Vysotskaya plays Luda, a Communist Party official and single mum whose teenage daughter gets lost in the melee, and it's her grim mission to find her daughter, dead or alive, while outwardly remaining an uncomplaining government loyalist who must make a speech to the party faithful, beginning with the greeting, "Dear Comrades." This is a stark, angry film full of fierce rage at the tyranny, brutality, mediocrity and incompetence of Soviet rule, which created such spiritual nausea. It's a tough watch, and if you're not up for it, in some ways I don't blame you, but if you are up for it, you will see a very fine film. Dear Comrades is streaming on Curzon Home Cinema now. One thing I've been doing this week is, inspired by Stardust, the somewhat ropey David Bowie film starring Johnny Flynn, I've been curating a highly subjective ranked list of the top 20 music biopics, and it's up right now on the Guardian site, and I hope you'll all go and check it out. But one thing it led me to in a rather interestingly random way was I included in this list Last Days by Gus Van Sant, a fictionalised version of the last days of the Nirvana frontman Kurt Cobain. And this very serendipitously led me to a film which I'd never actually seen, although I should have watched it ages ago, which is Louis Malle's Le Feu Follet, or The Fire Within, from the early 60s, about the agonised last days, a kind of psychological and emotional ordeal, suffered by a man, a writer in Paris, who is a non-recovering alcoholic. And this film really is absolutely brilliant. I want to play in a clip of it now, which is a shot of this man played by Maurice René, who is at a cafe in Paris. He has stayed dry, he's stayed clean and sober, but is now agonizingly on the verge of falling off the wagon, and he's noticed a small glass of brandy on the table next to him, which he could just take if he wants. And it is at this moment that he starts looking around him and seeing all the teeming panoply of life, all the people, all the worldly succession of existence, which he is now about, in a way, to say farewell to. Anyway, here is the clip. Nobody shoots those Robert Doisneau-style street scenes anymore. The real thing, but with actors mixed in. All human life is there, disclosed to him in a kind of tragic epiphany, and of course the music by Erik Satie is a big part of it. The young woman who is flirting with him, the old guy on the next table over who's caught pinching a napkin and looks absolutely mortified. It's all there. All life is there at the moment in which he is preparing to abandon his life. Louis Malle's Le Feu Follet is available to stream for free right now on YouTube. Check it out. If you like this vlog, please give it a like, give it a share, leave a comment if you so wish, and also please buy my book, which is a selection of reviews entitled The Films That Made Me, and of course subscribe.